Wisteria, energy, twister. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and Filipino folk tales. This folk tale is called The Anting-Anting of Manuelito. The anting-anting is a stone or other small object covered with Kabbalistic inscriptions. It is worn around the neck and is supposed to render its own impervious to knife or bullet. Many are wearing these charms, especially the tulisanas, or the outlaws. The anting-anting must not be confused, however, with the scapula, a purely religious symbol worn by a great number of the Christian people. Many of the older Filipinos remember Manuelito, the great Tulisani, who, more than 50 years ago, kept all the Laguna de Bay district in a state of fear. His robber band was very well organized and obeyed his slightest wish. He had many boats on the lake and many hiding places in the mountains, and throughout the country there was no villager who did not fear to oppose him, or who would refuse to help him in any way when required to do so. In vain, the Guardia Civil hunted him. Many times they surrounded the band, but Manuelito, always escaped. Many shots were fired at him, but he was never hit. And once, when he was cut off from his men and surrounded, he broke through the line and threw 50 bullets, whistled around him, but he did not receive one scratch. The officers of the Guardia Civil blamed their men for the bad marksmanship that allowed Manuelita to escape. They told all the people that it should never occur again, and promised that the next fight should end in the death of the outlaw. The people, however, did not believe that Manuelito could be killed, for he wore on his breast the famous Anting-Anting that he had received from Mangaguay, the giver of life and death. This charm was a stone covered with mysterious signs. It was wrapped in silk and hung by a string from the robber's neck. And even if a gun were fired within a few feet of him, the Anting-Anting was sure to turn the bullet in another direction. It was this charm that always saved him from the Guardia Civil. Manuelito was very proud of his Anting-Anting, and many times, when a fiesta was being held in some town, he and his band would come down from the mountains and take part in the games. Manuelito would stand in the town plaza and allow his men to shoot at him, and each time the Anting-Anting would turn aside the bullets. The people were very much impressed, and though a few of the wiser ones secretly thought that the guns were only loaded with powder, they were afraid to say anything, so the greater number thought it very wonderful and believed that there was no charm so powerful as the Anting-Anting of Manuelito. For years, the Tulisani, protected by his charm, continued to rob and plunder. The Guardia Civil hunted him everywhere, but could never kill him. He grew bolder and bolder, and even came close to Manila to rob the little town just outside the city. As the government grew tired of sending out the Guardia Civil and ordered a regiment of Maca babies to hunt and kill the Tulisani and his men. Manuelito was at Pasay when news was brought to him that the Macabebes were coming. Instead of running from these fierce little fighters, he decided to meet them and many people offered to help him, believing that the Anting-Anting would turn away all bullets and give them victory. So Manuelito and many men left the town, built trenches in the hills near San Pedro, McCarthy, and waited for the Macabebes to appear. They had not long to wait. The Macabebes, hurrying from Manila, reached San Pedro McCarthy and soon found Manuelito was waiting to fight them. They left the town at once and advanced on the Tolisane trenches. It was a great fight. From the other hills close by, many people watched the battle. 5 times the Macabebes advanced and were forced to fall back before the fierce fire of the Tolisanes. But the Macabebe never knows defeat, and once more their line went forward, and in one terrible charge swept over the trenches and bayoneted the outlaws. In vain, Manuelito called to his men to fight. They broke and ran in every direction. Then, seeing all was lost, Manuelito started to follow them, but a volley rang out, and, struck by 20 bullets, he fell to the ground dead. The Macabebes chased the flying Tolisanes and killed that of all the band. Only a few many safely reached the mountains. While the Macabebes were chasing the outlaws, many people came down from the hills and stood around the body of Manuelito. They could hardly believe their eyes, but the many wounds and the blood staining the ground proved that the great Tolisane was indeed dead. What of the Anting-Anting? Had it lost its power? One man timidly unbuttoned the shirt of the dead robber and pulled out the charm. The mystery was explained. Fixed firmly in the centre of the Anting-Anting was a silver bullet. There was but one explanation. The Macabebes had melted a statue of the Virgin and used it to make bullets to fire at Manuelito. Against such bullets any charm was useless, but against ordinary lead it never would have failed. Had not the people seen Manuelito's own men fire at him? The charm was taken from the neck of the dead Tolisane, and many copies were made of it. Even to this day, hundreds of people are wearing them. They will tell you about Manuelito's great fight and also about his famous Anting-Anting. But, you say, the Anting-Anting was useless. Manuelito was killed. They answer, yes, Senor, it is true. But the Macabebes used bullets of silver. Had they used lead, the story would have been different. Poor Manuelito. The end. And that's a great folklore of an outlaw. Very interesting. We used to have outlaws in England way back in the day. We don't really call them that anymore because they don't. An outlaw back in the day was more of a man that did rob and steal and pillage and kind of lived off the grid, sort of in the woods. We don't tend to have such outlaws now because things have got worse, obviously, for outlaws, and they are like murderers now and stuff. But I do find any story of outlaws very interesting. Thank you for listening and many blessings. Wisteria, energy, twister.